I read a really good article from the Energy Bulletin, and it really just brings things into perspective of what's happening in the oil markets. If you took a poll and asked people what the single biggest casualty was from the pandemic, very few people would respond with oil. But no matter who wins the election, U.S. oil production, including shale oil, is about to fall off a cliff with massive consequences for society. For the setup of our modern way of life, oil is effectively our hemoglobin. And the COVID era hit at the heart of the industry as market prices are far below what it costs to extract oil from the ground. Nate Higgins is the writer of that, and it's beautifully written. And the key emphasis here, oil, the industry as of market prices are far below what it costs to extract oil from the ground. Now, this was the goal of Russia and Saudi Arabia, to take the U.S. fracking industry off the market, because the cheaper oil prices are, the less profitable it is for most other countries, because Russia and Saudi Arabia, they're not worried about it. They could produce a barrel of oil for much cheaper. The most expensive barrel of oil in the world is in good old USA. Thank you, fracking. Thank you, shale oil industry. Look, I said a long time ago, the fracking industry is going to fall. And that was before COVID. That was before Russia and Saudi Arabia decided to come against it. Economically speaking, it is one of the worst investments you could ever get involved in. Now, Sean, why do you keep attacking fracking? Look, I'm not attacking fracking. I love what fracking has done for this world. It has made us foreign oil independent. We don't have to rely on Saudi oil, Russian oil, Middle East oil anymore. They can't control us. They can't manipulate us. And we don't have to send billions of dollars over there just to power our country. That is the beauty of fracking. Okay. I do appreciate that. But just because it's a good solution doesn't mean it's profitable. Okay. Now, if the government was funding this, it'd be completely different. It's a matter of national security. Let's put trillions of dollars in this thing. But it's not being funded by the government. It's being funded by investors, banks, institutional funding, you name it, the stock market. It's being funded by that world. They own it. They own fracking. They own shale. The government does not. And they're not going to hand it over. And so here's the deal, guys. Under the equation, fracking it's not sustainable. Quite simply, it costs too much money to produce a barrel of oil with fracking. And so we went from producing in 1985, the highest we reached was 8.9 million barrels a day, but that was conventional oil. Conventional oil only costs a few dollars a barrel to produce. And the decline curve, a decline curve means it comes online at 500 barrels and then it will start declining down to 400, 300, 200, 100 over the years. The decline curve on a conventional barrel of oil is very slow, okay? Fracking is unconventional. They have to use a massive frac to extract oil from a very tight, low porous, hard shale, as where most of these conventional wells is a sandstone, high porosity. Oil could flow through much freer. You don't have to put a massive frac on these things. But we went from 8.9 million barrels a day, and we dropped down to roughly 5 million barrels a day. And that's why oil prices in 2008 hit $150 a barrel. Now, we started getting into shale. And then in 2012, all of this free money from the banks flooded the shale market, and it's called the shale revolution, and it exploded in production. And so we hit as high as 13.1 million barrels a day, February 2020. Now, because of that, oil prices plummeted. And so the way Russia and Saudi Arabia, they all wanted to come against shale. So we're in this problem because Russia and Saudi Arabia is anti-fracking. We're in this problem because the Biden campaign, the Bernie campaign, is anti-fracking, anti-oil. We're in this situation because under the Obama administration, Obama was sending billions and billions of dollars to the Middle East. Obama administration was foreign oil dependent. We needed the Middle East oil. We relied on Middle East oil. And then Trump comes into office, destroying that reliance. And all of a sudden, the relationships in the Middle East, because we're not bowing down to them anymore, becomes very rocky. All of a sudden, Russia and Saudi Arabia start pulling off stunts like what they did in March by flooding the markets with oil, all in an attempt to bankrupt the fracking shale industry. And then all of a sudden, COVID hits. COVID, I just got an email today from an investor. And he said, yeah, my daughter came home from college and we all got COVID. We all got sick. But it was very clear. He said, some of us had 0 symptoms and the others had mild symptoms. Guys, this is what I keep hearing. I've never had anybody that I know that had COVID and had severe symptoms. I had one friend that said she was very sick. It's the worst she's ever felt, but it's the same pain and the same symptoms as a severe case of the flu. Is COVID real? Yeah. Is it as deadly as the media says it is? No, it's not. And this was an attempt, a coup against Donald Trump and his economy to win this election. Now, this is not about the election for me. I'm okay with Trump not winning. I'm okay with Biden sitting in office. Okay, I had to live with Obama for 8 years. I'll live with Biden for 4. Hopefully it's only 4. It's not about the election. It's not about the presidency. It is about oil. And it's about why we're in this situation. COVID was blown out of proportion, affecting our demand for energy. Biden overly emphasized on green tech to pander to his base. And another reason to divest from oil. And then the Middle East plummeted oil prices by flooding the markets. There's an agenda here. And it's very clear to me. It's very clear what's happening. The Middle East is in charge. They are controlling this market, and they want to take out shale fracking, U.S. fracking, because if they do, oil prices will go back up to $150 a barrel. But I'm okay with $100 oil. But we're on a collision course for something very serious. We're not talking about 2008 $150 oil. Think about it. We still have a demand of over 95 million barrels a day. We've only dropped about 6 million a day as far as demand, okay? Who is going to furnish the 95 million barrels a day when the U.S. American oil industry completely falls apart? I mean, if you look at the rig count has maintained the number, but we're still down 493, okay? We're down 493 rigs from this time last year, okay? Internationally, we're down 474 rigs. Canada, minus 36, okay? We are on a collision course for not being able to fulfill the order, the demand for oil. See, everyone thinks that green energy is going to save the day, but if there was a switch, they would have done it by now, but there isn't. Guys, what Biden said behind his little podium with information on a white piece of paper that he didn't write, that he didn't think of, what he said to the American world about green energy is pie in the sky. Look, I'm not anti-green. This is not oil against green or green against oil, Republicans against Democrats. No, this is about what is actually happening. The demand for oil is going to be greater than the output. And we don't have enough rigs to supply the demand. It's a big setup, guys. And we are walking into the hands of the Middle East, and they're going to become very rich, and they're going to do what they did in the 80s. We're going to have oil embargoes. They're going to cut us off from oil. Every time we supported Israel, they would cut us off from supply, and oil prices would go up 300% overnight. This is exactly what they were trying to prevent. Now, the only way to stop this is if we stop the agenda and the lies about COVID, the lies about fossil fuels, and get OPEC to get in gear and stop manipulating and stop playing these games. Get the media to stop manipulating the world about fossil fuels and green tech and say, hey, look, guys, is there potential in green tech? Yes, there is. But right now we need fossil fuels. That's the only thing that is fueling our nation. And without it, this country would stop. Driving would stop. Flying would stop. The electricity would stop without it. Right now, we don't have the green technology that is needed to replace fossil fuels. So guys, we are on a collision course for a serious situation. It's not about high oil prices anymore. It's not about being profitable anymore. It's about being in a situation where you cannot drive because gas prices are too high. And it might last for a while. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't have all the answers. I don't have it. I don't have any of these answers. But I'm telling you right now, the same thing they did with COVID, they made you believe that it's really deadly. Everybody I know that's had it is fine. And the news that you read about that the people are dead, they're old. God bless them. That's sad. I mean, my parents are up there in age. I hope they don't get COVID. Guys, don't believe the news. Don't believe what you're reading out there. I've been a little quiet. I've been very busy. We've been developing oil and gas properties, but you can't go by what you read anymore. And if you look at oil prices, we're at 44.84, WTI 47.85. Oil prices are going up. And the hopes of the vaccine is causing some excitement. And that's because everybody believes that COVID is destroying demand worse than it really is. So vaccine is causing everyone, hey, vaccine's coming. Look, if Biden gets in office, this COVID thing is going to come to an end, and it has nothing to do with the vaccine. And it has all to do with the media. So here's the thing. As an investor, as a guy in the oil business, I see an incredible opportunity here. I see an opportunity to get in while prices are low, because I'm not going to believe the lies of the media. I'm just not. And so right now, it's more expensive to produce a barrel of oil than what it's priced at. As far as unconventional fracking wells, yes, that is true. But as far as conventional, we've been drilling conventional for a long time. $47 oil, Brent crude, when a well only costs $600,000, very profitable. So this is a great opportunity to be in the oil and gas industry when everybody else is falling apart. And if they're not falling apart, they don't have the money because the banking industry has shut off oil and gas completely for multiple reasons. Number one, they lost their butt investing in fracking. Number two, they're probably Biden fans. Some of these guys, a lot of the banks shut off financing for shale because they don't want to look like they're supporting an evil industry. There are colleges that the students would rally around the college and demand that their college divest from fossil fuels because they have massive shares in Exxon or whatever. It has become the cigarette. Oil has become the cigarette of the world. It's almost like if you were in the fossil fuel industry, it's almost walking around with a Trump hat. People look at you like you're crazy. Guys, I'm here to tell you, all of this agenda against the fossil fuel industry, it's setting us up to where energy is more expensive than it's ever been. Now, this really benefits the Middle East. So why would somebody like Biden, somebody like Obama, somebody like the tops of the Democrats, why would they focus on something that would make the Middle East so rich? These are the questions that we need to answer. I mean, it's pretty simple in my mind what's really happening. Why would Trump go toe-to-toe with China, with the Middle East, and go against the grain? Get out of the Paris Accord, the nuclear deal, get off the dependency of foreign oil and focus on U.S. assets, focus on American. Why would Trump be that guy, but Biden and these other guys are focused on making other countries rich? You got to ask yourself that question. But I'm not here to judge Biden. I'm not here to judge Donald Trump. I'm here to just say, hey, look, this is the situation we're in. Oil prices are very low, but we are on a collision course for not enough oil, higher demand, and very high oil prices. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you like this channel, please subscribe. And we'll keep an eye on this thing, but it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next 6 months. I've got people calling me all the time and saying, Sean, we are in a serious situation here in 6 months. Oil prices are going to be very high. And I said, I agree with you. I got to be careful what I say on YouTube. I got to be careful what I say to others, because it's kind of like when Trump was running, and I would tell people I think Trump's going to win. They look at me like I'm crazy. Well, I'm telling you right now, oil prices are going up, and it's not good for America, but it's very good for the Middle East. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. Thanks.